There we go. All right, so I'll call the meeting to order. Good evening, everyone. Kevin regrets that he could not be here tonight, but he sends his regards to everybody. And I know we all send our best wishes to him as he recovers. So first item is approval for the minutes from the prior meeting. We have a motion?
So moved.
So moved. Second? Second. Any corrections or comments on the minutes? All right, everybody in favor? Any opposed?
Steve, there was one correction you were going to read in?
Yep, there was one correction where the term PSAP was inserted in the place of CPAP, and that has been corrected up at the executive committee meeting. All right, so all in favor? Any opposed? Okay, the minutes are carried. Okay, excused from tonight's meetings are Jim Reagan, Zori, Aiden, and Kevin. We have no disciplinary actions to read into the record this evening. We do have one piece of correspondence, and that is a FOIL request from Ostroff and Associates. That's a government relations firm. It has requested all of the Remsco attendance records for the past 5 years. That includes who has attended the meetings and what seat they occupy, whether they be a paid EMS, volunteer EMS, fire, etc. That has been received by all the Remscos, and so I believe we are in the process of getting ready to send them that information. Anybody have any questions about that? All right. We have 2 course applications that are listed in the agenda for information only. Number 1 is Hudson Valley has 2 refreshers paramedic beginning in June and July. Number 2 is Western Turnpike has an EMT original that starts in August. All right, so committee reports. Jim Reagan is not here, and there has been no action at the CON committee, so there is no report. Next up is the executive committee. There's nothing on the executive committee that was discussed that will not be discussed at some other point in this meeting other than one thing. We did have a discussion of credentialing at the executive committee meeting and the challenges of the credentialing process, and we have asked him to work internally and come back on how the credentialing is mapping out and works, and to come back to the executive committee in 2 months with an assessment of how the process is working, what ways in which it can be improved, and how we can make measurements of that. So we look forward to having that done and to improve the customer service that Remo provides to both the EMS agencies, but ultimately the providers that are working to get online. So that was a good discussion. Executive Director's Report.
Hopefully everybody has a copy. I'll touch on a couple of highlights as I see them here. Annual EMS Award nomination reminders have been circulated to all the agencies. We're in receipt of 1 nomination to date. It's still early in the process, and we'll send out additional reminders for that. One thing we're excited about is we expand our training program. We met with an organization called CAMDU, C-A-M-D-U. They provide safety services. In this particular case, they're contracting with Global Foundries in Round Lake or the Malta area. And they want to provide CFR, Certified First Responder training, for a large majority of the workforce. Workforce is very considerable. So we've entered into an arrangement with them to sponsor CFR courses for Global Foundries. First one starts, correct me if I'm wrong, Lynn, April 9th?
April 6th.
April
We're running
6th.
2 classes simultaneously.
Yep.
April 6th, April 9th, running 6 weeks, testing out in May.
And hopefully this will be a series of continuous CFR courses for that facility. Majority of the REMAC billings have come in, and they've come in fairly rapidly. Nothing is over 30 days yet. There are several organizations that are still outstanding, though once we get the 30-day limit, we'll send out an additional reminder to those organizations. We just concluded our first phlebotomy class for Bryant and Stratton College. Everything went well. They were very happy with us, and we are starting, well, we did start today, our third EKG course for the school. They're happy with the service we provide, and hopefully that'll be something that continues as well. And one of the other last things I'm a little excited about is we just concluded our 7th round rotation or group of pharmacy student interns here at Remo. Continue to have a great working relationship with them. A new dean was assigned oversight of that particular program, and I met with her last week. I think everybody has a copy of the email from her. She was very happy with the services and what Remo provides. And so hopefully that'll be another a long-term working relationship as well. That concludes it. I hit on the highlights unless anybody has any questions.
I have one question. I didn't see it on your thing. Did I miss it? The CIC update? April 9th?
It's up there under training, Remo CIC CLI update.
Okay. May I make a request? I spoke to Aiden as well. The announcements are going out to the county coordinators, and right now, just because we don't have one, but in some counties, they're separate from who does the training. We used to have an instructor list that was notified. Do you suppose we could go back to that, maybe in addition to?
I don't see why not.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tim.
You're welcome.
Tim mentioned the New York State EMS Awards and the applications being due. There's one award in particular I just want to mention because I think we have a lot of agencies in our region that are doing things that are innovative. There is an award for EMS quality and public safety and provider safety. That award is meant to recognize best practices that agencies put in place that either enhance the safety or the quality of care. If you're doing something that's interesting, that does work out of your quality process, please consider maybe putting something in there. The idea behind this award was to try and share best practices across New York State from agencies that are doing things that are innovative and new. And we got some really good things in last year, and then we publish them and we send them out to everybody. So if you're doing something really interesting there, I think it would be nice to have some applicants out of this region. All right, Treasurer's Report, PJ.
Okay, we're still very positive cash position, pretty flush at this point in time. The only receivables that are outstanding over 90 days are the New York State course reimbursements, and Tim has been working together with DOH to try to get that reduced. And there are no bills for approval tonight, and we're in good shape.
Thank you. At the request of the Executive Committee, our bookkeeper has added a aging of the accounts to the accounts receivable. So you'll note right now on the accounts receivable line, it says that those accounts, how old they are. That's going to continue. So when you're looking at our finance reports, you'll see how our receivables are aging, which is just a sign of what's happening in payments coming in that you can look at. There's no separate report from the Finance Committee. And so next we've got the Medical Director, Medical Advisory Committee, and Academic Committee report with Dr. Daly.
All right, thank you. We'll do the Medical Director's report first. A few really interesting things. Be hosting a conference call tomorrow for representatives from all of the regional hospitals to discuss a Mission Lifeline grant that is potentially available to us that we will be applying for, I suspect. It's called the Regional Systems Accelerator Implementation of the AHA's Mission Lifeline. This is for acute STEMI care, ST elevation MI care. As you know, we put together a transmission EKG project about 6 or 7 years ago, extremely successfully, and looked at ST elevation MI door-to-balloon times at that time. And the PCI centers are the centers that do cardiac caths. We're doing very well. What this takes into account is the non-PCI centers as well, and gives centers that are doing caths the chance to do a little bit more introspection on processes even involving incoming transfers and walk-in patients as well. It provides money for technical expertise from Duke, some money for data collection. So we'll be talking about that with medical directors, management personnel, EM physicians, and cardiology physicians from each of the hospitals in the region tomorrow on a brief conference call. I hope everybody is enthusiastic about it. I was really happy to see that just about every hospital in the region has stepped up to be on that call tomorrow. So that's a great step in the right direction. The other thing that's a working project that dovetails with that nicely is something that a number of people in this room are working on as well, which is to create standards for something that would work across New York State for something called the Heart Safe Community, where communities would be able to apply for this designation, which basically would allow EMS and hospitals to partner to put up signs which highlight their commitment to cardiac care, their commitment to the citizens of the community, and a chance for additional publicity around CPR courses and saves. It's a great idea. It needs a little bit more structure before it's brought to New York State. And we've got a group that's getting together in early April to discuss how that structure can be built so that it's a legitimate honor for a community to get this, and for us to be able to hold this out there for people to earn. It has a significant potential benefit for us, I think, in some of our outlying communities. Next is a project that's going on. Sounds like I've got a lot of stuff going on, I apologize, but there's a lot all hitting at the same time. The next is a project on epinephrine. You all know how much epinephrine auto injectors cost. It's a ridiculous expense. We are currently putting together a project based on some work that's already been done in Washington State and a number of other western states, the state of West Virginia, for example, where we'll be replacing auto injectors on ambulances with a syringe and a vial of epinephrine. So you will replace $1,000 worth of epinephrine auto injectors with $50 worth of vials and syringes. Fiscally, there's no question as to whether or not it's the right idea. We're putting this together from stem to stern right there with a white paper explaining why this is a good idea, all the way through the IRB-approved research project to review utilization of it, implementation of it, and the idea of how BLS providers are going to feel doing it. Jeff and Rich Beebe are being very helpful in terms of putting together structure behind this. A number of other people regionally are working on it. And we're hoping that this will bear some fruit when we bring it to the CMAC in May. Our partners on this are the folks from Monroe Livingston. It's pretty exciting the way this project is coming together. So I think it's got a lot of potential benefit. And then we'll bring it back here as a package for agencies to participate in. There will be significant savings for anybody that chooses to participate in it. One other thing, which is we're looking to do an expansion of cardiac arrest review on a regional basis. One of the expenses we brought forward was purchase of the CodeStat suite. CodeStat suite, isn't it? Yeah, okay. Software for physio control to review cardiac arrests. This is dovetailing with training that we've done in the past. So that is the medical director's report. Then there's the medical advisory committee report. So from one into the next, sorry, Terry. The MAC met. One thing that was brought up by some very astute folks is we do have some discrepancies in the protocols between sedation for post-intubation care for people that have MFI or non-MFI. We've put together an advisory to correct that error, and will hopefully make life a little bit easier. There is going to be hopefully a radiation emergency medicine course that Dr. McHugh is taking ownership of and will be hopefully bringing to us through Knowles, which could be extremely interesting. There is significant interest on the part of some of the emergency departments in getting their staff involved in that. Additional discussion on working with both the American College of Emergency Physicians and the State Emergency Medical Advisory Committee to reduce the stroke CME requirement for emergency physicians because we're beating a dead horse and doing 4 hours of CME to gain, how much knowledge did you gain this year? Nothing, right? Okay. Yeah, show us what we need to train to fix and we'll train, right? Okay, there's nothing there. And an additional requirement or request from one of the paramedics for a list of capabilities for each hospital in the region that we would be able to publish so that people could look up and see exactly what each hospital in the region was able to do. We're having a lot of trouble with hospitals defining the things that they are able to do and things that they want to go public saying they can and can't do. Not quite sure where that's ultimately going to go. So we will continue to beat that dead horse for a little while longer. So. And academic committee brought us the issue of the sedation, which has been taken care of.
Thanks, Mike. Any
Thank you,
questions
sir.
for Dr. Daly? Nurses Committee's up next. Dan Marie.
We meet this week.
Okay, we'll hear from you next month then. Anything from last month we need to be reminded of? Any issues? Okay, PJ, MCI Committee,
No report at this time.
Lynn Membership Committee.
We're in good standing so far.
Nothing from the nominating committee at this time of year. July Committee, Dean?
We did meet this month. Earlier this month, we decided on what we're going to do for projects for the year. We're going to repeat the respiratory study that we did, and we've redefined our sepsis study, and we're also going to do a response time study. In addition to that, we have we're going to work on some cardiac arrest QI studies that goes along with the software Dr. Daly was talking about a little bit. And we're also working on some documentation standards for electronic charting. That's important. Next meeting is May 6th.
Thank you, Dean. All right, Lynn, anything from the awards committee other than what Tim said?
The initial announcement has gone out, and Tim and I will be working on further announcements and dates for applications to come in.
All right. Okay, that finishes committee reports, county reports. Albany, Tim's not here. Anybody for Jim? Okay, Columbia.
We released our countywide statistical information for 2013 from our countywide CCEMS system. We had 2,043 standbys, which meant we placed an ambulance from the county system into a depleted area 2,000 times. Of that converted into approximately 20% to a 911 call. So about 400 patients received an ambulance in about a third the time they would have normally received one under the old system.
Congratulations. Greene County.
That's pretty cool.
Greene County has scheduled AMLS and PHPLS courses. It's open to outside the county. Anybody who is interested should contact the paramedic service.
Rensselaer County.
No report.
Saratoga County.
Nothing to report.
Schenectady County.
Camp Bisco's coming back to our county this year, and we've got the emergency plan for it. We're reviewing it and going from there, just working on it.
All right, Camp Bisco is back. Okay. Under new business, we have a couple things that come from as seconded motions from the executive committee. The first one is the annual EMS Charts Users Conference, which is April 30th and May 1st in Pittsburgh. And the executive committee approved a motion for spending up to $2,500 so that Remo can send the QI coordinator and one other staff or volunteer person on behalf of the region to attend the conference. EMS Charts is the charting software that is used by many agencies in the region. I believe it is the most popular, and it appears to be not going away as had been thought at some point in time. So that comes as a seconded motion from the executive committee. The cost will be not to spend no more than $2,500 for two persons to attend and participate in the conference, and that includes transportation, hotel, and the conference fee. Are there any questions or comments? All right, then all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, the motion carries for the EMS Charts Conference. The seconded motion comes with regard to spending on a physio control, which is a project Dr. Daly just described having to do with improvement in cardiac arrest auditing, and then sharing the reviewed information back with the agencies. It is a CodeStat data review software, and it comes with an estimated price of $3,500. There is a discount of $500 off the list price that has been received in this quote. Dr. Daly mentioned that not only will the software be available to the region, but it would be available to agencies within the region that wish to use it as well for their own quality improvement projects. Dr. Daly, is there anything else you would want to say about the purchase of the software?
It'll help, thanks.
It'll help, okay. Any discussion or questions? All right, well then, since the seconded motion, we can take a vote. All those in favor of purchasing the physio control software at a cost of $3,500, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Abstentions? Okay, the motion has been adopted. All right. The third item that comes as a seconded motion is a request to donate $250 to support the National EMS Memorial Bike Ride. Remsco has donated this same amount for each of the last 2 years. Is there any discussion? Any questions? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? The motion carries. The last item under new business for tonight will be for your information only, but will be discussed probably at a subsequent meeting. An idea has been brought to Tim with the possibility of a downtown Albany billboard being purchased. There's an electronic billboard few electronic billboards downtown that would carry a EMS week message, thanking EMS providers for all they do. Tim is investigating both the exact price of that billboard as well as some potential sponsors who may be willing to sponsor part of the cost of that billboard. And I think he'll be coming back next month with both a price for us as well as a list of sponsors. One thing to mention, Tim, is those billboards do sell out pretty far in advance. So if you see this thing coming together, you might want to just call the advertising agency, find out if they have any availability during that week. What might it take to get a hold on it if that's possible, just so we don't vote yes and then suddenly they're all sold out during the EMS week. So that may be coming back. Is there any other new business? Is there any old business? Lynn?
No business?
Well, Lynn-
Make a motion that we adjourn.
All right, so Lynn makes a motion that we adjourn. Can we congratulate you, Lynn, on the news you shared, or is that a secret?
Oh, sure.
So Lynn, when do you want to tell everyone?
I was very surprised last week to receive a call. In my other life, I'm a quilter, and I signed a book publishing deal last Wednesday to have my quilt published book, and it'll come out next April.
So congratulations, Lynn.
Pretty excited.
And so there being no other business and a motion having made and seconded to adjourn, all in favor? And any opposed? I didn't think so. And our next meeting will be the fourth Monday in April. Thank you, everyone. Good night.